Hello and welcome to the Genuine Learning Blog. My name is Melissa Galasso, and I'm excited to be with you today to talk about a new executive order from President Biden on digital assets. This got a lot of attention this month. We've talked a lot about digital assets and valuation and accounting and auditing, but now we're going to talk a little bit about what the U.S. government is looking at from a digital assets perspective and what impact it may have. So there is a little fact sheet that they put out about the executive order, and it had some really interesting statistics. So in terms of increase, right, 5 years ago, the market cap was about 14 billion. 5 years later, in 2021, it surpassed 3 trillion. So obviously fast growing use of cryptocurrencies and digital assets, including things like Bitcoin. In addition, 16% of adult Americans have either invested in, traded, or used cryptocurrency, and that's about 40 million people. So it's not like it's a one-off type of occasion. And there are over 100 countries that are exploring or piloting central bank digital currencies, which is a digital form of a country's sovereign currency. So the US dollar, but in a digital format. And so this executive order was issued by and signed by President Biden on March 9th. And it's really just a call to action around digital assets and cryptocurrency. I wouldn't say that there's a lot of you must. I would say there's a lot of you must research, and there's a whole thought process around what they're going to look into and what some of their goals are. The we must are like we must protect U.S. citizens, right, and U.S. businesses, right? Those are the musts. But in terms of what the plan is, they identified 6 key priorities. And so consumer and investor protection, because obviously we want to make sure people know what they're getting into with Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, financial stability, illicit finance, U.S. leadership in the global financial system and economic competitiveness, financial inclusion, and responsible innovation. And so obviously part of this is really encouraging regulators to get involved. And so they start assigning things, including the Department of Treasury, to assess and develop recommendations to address the implications of the growing digital asset sector, look at changes potentially to consumers, investors, visitors, and equitable economic conduct. Obviously, one of the key elements of the Biden administration is that focus on equity and inclusion, and trying to ensure that people who may not have had great access to the markets historically have access in this crypto world. In terms of financial stability, we already have the FSOC, the Financial Stability Oversight Council. And so again, it encourages. The words that they use here are encourage or research or coordinate. They're not hard and fast sort of legal terms in here to identify and mitigate economy-wide systemic financial risks that are posed and develop appropriate recommendations for regulatory gaps. So basically, they're trying to protect how the financial stability is out there for the U.S. And so not a surprise. Obviously, illicit finance, illicit use of digital assets, any potential security risks. They want to coordinate across multiple agencies here. So if you read the actual length of the executive order, it's quite lengthy on this department, research this, and this department, get back in that and do this. And so there's a lot of coordination here. But also it talks about working with the U.S. allies and partners for an international potential for framework so that we can be responsive to potential risks. And then last but not least, again, that ultimately trying to explore a potential, again, it doesn't say create. The Federal Reserve already has, if you look, a few different policy documents on this or, research documents that they've already done on creating a U.S. central bank digital currency. There's a lot of confusion over who would have to do that. Is it the executive branch? Is it the legislative branch? Does the current legislative branch even have the capability of doing this? And so the Fed has basically come back and said, you tell us who is responsible for, even if we want to create a digital currency, what that would look like. And so then it encourages the Federal Reserve to continue. Again, as I said, they already have multiple documents out there. It's research, development, and assessment of a U.S. Central digital currency. So again, in terms of the importance of it, it's obviously important to talk about digital currency. It's important to talk about crypto assets and Bitcoin. Obviously, with the numbers of people who are investing in this, we want to make sure that we're making good decisions. But it's not a document that's going to say this is what we're doing. So I think there's been some statements about, oh, it's overhauling the cryptocurrency. I think that's a little bit of a stretch here. I think it's just a more of a let's do some thoughtful research and then see what our next steps are going to be in this area. So that's a wrap on this week's vlog. I hope that you guys had an awesome month and that you're closing up some of that busy season work. So I want to thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you on a future vlog. Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.